What's going on, YouTube? Matthew back here with you. Got a lot to go over. I've had a lot come in since I was last with you. It's been 5 days since I last was able to do a video. The last video I uploaded was on the 27th, and today is the 1st of February, as we're already moving fast in the new year. The reason that I have not done some smaller videos and shared a lot of this as it came in is if you watched my last video, you know near the end I let you know that I had some bad news from a doctor. Well, I had to go back to the doctor. Actually, I didn't go back to the doctor the very next day after I uploaded that video. I had to go to the hospital the next day to have blood work done there. My doctor ordered a different type of blood test called a GGT, which basically checks. I found out from the people at the hospital what he was doing. That blood test basically checks to see if you got any kind of blockage in your bile ducts or anything, that might be related to causing your liver enzymes to go up. And my GGT blood work came back within it's funny, I had the results before my doctor did because they have this thing called My Chart nowadays. And I'm signed up with it through the local hospital. I have been since I had my gallbladder removed about 8 years ago or 7 years ago right now. And so I got an email like 2 hours after I gave blood at the hospital. And I looked at the results finally. At first I was not going to, and Roseanne was like, do it. And I said, nah, I'd rather wait until the doctor calls me, because I said, if I look at it and I don't know what it means or whatever, then I'll just be worried, sick until, the doctor calls. But Roseanne, is a retired nurse. And so, because she was a nurse up until she became disabled. And so she told me, she was like, just look at it and let me see it. So we did. It was in the normal range. It actually stated that it was normal. And he also had did like standard, while I was there, he was having another standard set of labs done. Not sure why he did that, because he had just did it like a couple of days before that. So anyway, the doctor called the next day and late the next evening to verify what I'd already seen, that the results were good, and that he wasn't worried, even though my liver enzymes were still showing to be 80, which is high. You want them. I think they're supposed to be below 40 something, and mine was 80, which wasn't astronomical or anything. My doctor had told me that by astronomical, what he considered astronomical, he's talking about like if somebody had hepatitis, he said the liver enzymes would be in the thousands. And that 80 is that's a warning sign that there's something not working quite right, or something that is bothering the liver in some way. He also said that most people that don't have a gallbladder develop non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which they call it some kind of metabolic disorder now. But at any rate, he did tell me that this might be my new normal. But I do know this: I have been sick on my stomach. I don't know why, but I don't know if it's been nerves or whatever, but I got sick on my stomach. Not throwing up, but sick, like stomach cramps, churning. I was constipated. And it seems like I go through these cycles like that. But anyway, that's not what I'm doing this video for. I just letting you know why I haven't been here. But hopefully, I'm feeling this morning. I'm feeling okay. Yesterday, I had some. The last couple of days, which we've been so cold, so it wasn't like there was anything, that big a deal. But I've pretty much been. It's not that I've been inactive. It's just that I have been really, really struggling, just to get going. Seemed like I woke up yesterday feeling pretty good like today. And, but then as the day went along, I just got so tired so quick. But anyway, in the last video I did, I had, shared, that I had picked up this George Brett, signed cut, and, authenticated by PSA, and that I picked it up for the 88 Tops project that I've been working on for months now. Well, that's what I did. instead of pay, like since the only example that I could find of an 88 Topps signed on card by George Brett, the guy was wanting like four. I got this right here, this signed cut that's already authenticated by PSA. I got it 10%, actually a little bit less than 10% of what the guy was wanting for the autographed 88 Topps. So that should tell you he was wanting an insane price, because you're not even going to get a signed cut of George Brett dirt cheap, like, well, for a George Brett autograph, the signed cut is probably the cheapest you're going to get. But for me, right now, until I can come across one that's reasonable, and I'll be honest with you, I mean, I've got Mike Schmidt for the set, I've got Nolan Ryan for the set, both PSA DNA, and both of them together costed me less money than the guy was asking for the 88 Topps George Brett. It's all about, as he was saying, is supply and demand. Well, yeah, you can get on line. You can do a Google search. You can find all kind of autographed baseball cards by George Brett that have been authenticated. Most sell in the range of $75 to $125 on average. And a signed cut like this is just like a signed photo. Even though this was already slabbed in a PSA DNA case, I was able to get that for basically the price of a signed photo of George Brett, which is not that bad, nowhere near as bad. So I was thrilled with that. But that's how I decided to do that on the back. And for now, that's fine in my 88 top set. I'll put that right with my slab cards, autograph cards in the set of other Hall of Famers. And if later down the road I get an actual 88 tops, I have a chance to get one at a reasonable price, then I can always get one and put it in the set, take this out and just put it in a box of Hall of Fame autographs. But for now, that is how I'm looking to complete my 88 Topps project. Okay, since my last video now, I've had a lot of mail come in. It's not as much as what I was getting there for a while, because I've been sick and I haven't really been looking to purchase as much lately. And I've been trying to get away from shopping on eBay and going to other sites, but I just really haven't felt like doing much lately. This right here is actually a Valentine, part of of Roseanne's Valentine's. Stephen Kwan. Yes, I'm an Indians Guardians fan, and Roseanne is too. And this is only graded an 8 by SGC. It is what year is it? It's 2022 Topps Purple refractor. Just a purple refractor, but it is a Topps Chrome. It's his rookie card, rookie card. It's got the RC right there in the top corner. But it's a purple refractor. It's not serial numbered or anything. I got this really cheap, which 8s usually you can get really cheap. Just like 7s and 8s you can pick up pretty cheap of about any card if you come across them. It's the 9s. 9s you're gonna start paying a little bit more of a premium. In some cases, not so much, but depending on who the player is and the card. But 10s is where the money's at, where you're going to pay. Well, I was happy to get this, and I'll tell you why I wanted this. This is actually not just for the Indians PC. This is Roseanne's favorite player, and Valentine's Day is coming up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this with the other stuff that I get her for Valentine's, because Roseanne currently she's got just a standard base Topps rookie card of Stephen Kwan and a top loader that I gave her, that is sitting on her desk, her computer desk, and that is because that's her favorite baseball player. And I decided to when I picked this up, I got it really cheap, and I just decided to I'm going to give that to her as part of her Valentine's, because it's a much pretty, being a refractor and all, it's much prettier. Because she's a woman, I wish I could have found a pink refractor. I did see one pink refractor or something, Quan, but it wasn't really, or it was red something, but it wasn't really that good of an image to me. This was a nicer card. So, but anyway, I just thought she could replace that, put it on a little card stand, for her, and let her set that on her desk and take the place of the standard base Topps rookie card of Quan. And I just thought she'd like that. Because she's as big a baseball, she's as big a sports fan as me. All right, I had this come in, and I haven't even took it out of the wrapper, so I'll share it with you now. And this video, yes, it's going to be a little bit longer because I'm backed up on stuff. But these are all three. These were three pickups. They were all auction listed by the same seller. I won all three. I've been waiting a while. These have been won a couple of weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago. It took them forever to get here. eBay standard envelope, and that kind of makes me mad because the guy charged me for shipping as if he was going to ship in a bubble mailer. Now he may have if I'd have bought one more auctions, but I wasn't interested in anything he had autograph card wise, except for the auctions on cards I needed for the 88 top set. I needed Jim Presley, and I got that. And it's signed in black, but it's nicely signed. So that's another card down. Also, I will tell you, I don't have an updated total right now of what my 88 top set stands at. I do know I'm way over 500. I mean, I'm over 500 now. Probably about 510 cards out of 792 autographed for the regular set, and I think I'm nearing about 80 cards of the traded set, which is 132 cards. All right, I also picked up Eric King and Blue Sharpie, and I wrote to Mr. King twice. Once a few years ago, when there was somebody had got a return back from him, I wrote to him, and I actually think I sent this card then, and with a couple, because I think I sent his 87 tops rookie this card, and 88 tops or 89 tops, I mean. But anyway, I never got back. And then in August, when I started this set again, even though there hadn't been any successes in a long time, I wrote to him again with just that card and have not got anything back. And then this is a tough one, usually pretty tough to get anymore. Kevin Gross, former Philadelphia Phillies pitcher. He also was a Dodgers pitcher and Montreal Expo pitcher. Eric King, some may remember him for his days with the White Sox, and he also pitched briefly, I think, for the Cleveland Indians. And Jim Presley also played for the Atlanta Braves, but the bulk of his career was with Seattle. So anyway, that's three more cards down for the 88 top set. And this one right here is an insurance autograph. I got this cheap. This is a Ray Hayward with the Texas Rangers on an 89 Fleer. Now, the reason that I picked this up is because I wrote to Hayward, and I've never got anything back. I wrote to him in August. He's in the 88 tops traded set, his rookie card. Anyway, if I never get one back from him, I pick this up, and this is my insurance card, okay? If I never get one back from him for the 88 tops set, since there is so many of these available online at cheap prices, I picked one of these up that I thought looked nicer in Blue Sharpie. That is a nice signature on that card. And I said, if all else fails and I never get one back from him by mail, I could always, and I hate to do this to a baseball card, but I could take and cut this. I've seen I've got a signed cut in a Beckett slab that somebody had took a Mike Flanagan baseball card and cut the autograph off of it to send it in as a signed cut. And I'm like, why didn't you just authenticate the card? Maybe the card, I don't know. I didn't see the card. The card may have been really rough. It was a 70s card, and it could have been like rounded corners or something like that a kid had, and the guy just decided it would look better as a signed cut. But that did it. But at any rate, that right there is a nice autograph, and that may possibly, I call it an insurance card. It may be used in the 88 top set if needed, but if not, no big deal. It was very affordable. I had one TTM, only one come in the last 5 days, but it was one that I will make an addition to the 88 top set for. Now, it's from Ernie Witt. I already had this card autographed, but I sent another one, and I'll tell you why. Depending on what color, because he did sign in blue, which is nice. I'm thinking that the one that I have for the 88 top set that he signed for me back in August or September 1 when I got it back, I'm believing that it was a little bit off center. So if this is centered better, I will compare them. This will replace the one that, since it's in Blue Sharpie and it's nicely signed there, it will replace the off center one. The off center one will just go in a binder of TTMs. Also, while I was writing to him, I sent an 83 tops card that I think is a much more beautiful card than the 88 tops, and he signed nicely in Blue Sharpie. Thrilled to get that one signed like that. That's just really not. It's not the best centered top to bottom, but I love sets I love those sets. That was when I was really in my early days of collecting as a kid. This is the one that'll go in the 88 Tops project I needed a Blue Jays team leader card autographed, and George Bell, you ain't going to get by mail, and Fred McGriff, you ain't going to get by mail. If you do, you're going to pay. And if I pay, I'm going to pay for Fred McGriff to sign his Topps Rookie Gold Cup card. I'm not going to pay to get Fred McGriff to sign a team leader card. So I sent one with Ernie Witt, and Ernie Witt signed it. So I've got an 88 Topps Blue Jays team leader card autographed by a member of the 87 Blue Jays. And Ernie Witt, you might as well say, was a team leader. George Bell was never a true team leader. He was all about himself. The true leaders of those Blue Jays teams were guys like Ernie Witt. Um, they had so many other veterans back then. The pitching staff had guys like Dave Steve, Jim Clancy, Tom Hinkie. Their lineup was loaded with talent: Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield. Uh, they had a lot of talent on that team, and Rance Mullenix. But Ernie Witt would have been considered a true team leader. George Bell, not so much. And I think that's honestly one of the reasons why that they never won it big when Bell was in his prime or anything, and they were so talented. Tony Fernandez was on that team, and he was at the peak of his career. They really had no true their biggest stars, their most talented players, were not true team leaders, and I think that hurt them against teams like the Detroit Tigers. A lot of people argued back then that the Blue Jays were more talented than the veteran Tiger teams, and like in 1987 and that year, because Detroit beat them out on the last weekend of the year for the division title. And a lot of people said, Toronto's more talented, but you know what? Detroit had true leadership. They had true, gritty veteran players that knew what it took to win. And anyway, I had picked up a card. Oh, before I do that, this also came in for the 88 Topps project. I have been struggling to find a really nice Frank Lucchesi, who has passed away now, autographed card. He was the Cubs manager in 87, and he is in the 88 Topps set on the Cubs card. I found this 3x5 index card. I picked it up pretty cheap, and this is his older signature, and the guy that I got it from, that I got some other signed index cards from, you can tell this is an older index card. That's the backside, and they don't even make. I haven't seen any made like that since I was a kid. And my grandma used to have some that looked like that. I'm just talking about the style with the pink line and everything. That's style. But the guy had wrote on it that he got this autographed by him in 1971, and that wouldn't surprise me because Lucchesi was managing the Philadelphia Phillies back in like the early '70s, late '60s, early '70s. Um, and he was like an older manager when he took over the Cubs at that time. He had been around baseball a long time. But the only problem I ran into is I noticed that normally when I do a signed cut, and I'll show you right here with a baseball card, I cut it to fit in a penny sleeve and top load. This is barely sticking out. I don't know if yeah, like barely sticking out the bottom down there. So it's going to be a close nick and cut for a signed cut, but it may serve that purpose or not. It's not that he's that hard. They're out there. His 88 Topps autograph cards are out there. Most of what I've seen are either in black Sharpie or in ink pen. And if I found one in blue Sharpie, I'd just go ahead and take it. But I figured if I was going to pay black Sharpie, since he's passed away, guys want like between $5 and $10 for him usually, and you know I got that for a couple of bucks. So I'm fine with a signed cut on a deceased player, for the set. To me, it's more about finishing out the set now. And if I have to do it by just acquiring the player's autograph and doing a signed cut and putting it in the set with the player, so be it. It's still that what makes it more affordable and easier for me to complete. And be able to collect other things. Now this right here came in. The seller, I bought this card. I won it in an auction, and the seller sent these with it. And I'm assuming these were just throw-ins, but it did make me wonder if maybe somebody had actually bought these in a separate auction list than he had, and I got somebody else's cards as well. But I think he just threw them in. with the slab card I got. One of them is just a base Dansby Swanson with the Braves, 2019 tops. Not a big deal. This is like a Topps Chrome, flashier looking card there, like a of Jazz Chisholm after he got traded to the Yankees. This was 2024, more recent, but anyway, nothing big there. I don't even really know why he sent those, but because these to me are just going to go in a box of cards that I'm going to be looking to get rid of, But some guys get rid of their commons that way. I get rid of my commons that I don't want by giving them to either kids across the street here or taking them to Salvation Army, um, donating them. Because really, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that, I used to keep everything no matter what it was. And if it's not a player that I'm going to write to through the mail, request an autograph, and it's a common card, unless it's vintage. Now, I still keep my vintage commons, older commons. Pretty much right now, anything that's 1982 tops and older, I keep but I've got too many of them. Um, and what I need to do, to be honest with you, is go ahead and go back to set building on those commons and put together as many sets, especially 82 tops and 81 tops, 80 tops, 78, 79. I've got so many commons, I should just go, finish, put together a few more sets, lower grade sets, whatever. Because I'm not going to part with them because they're older. But at the same time, like I don't have a bit of problem dumping these or giving them to a kid. To me, these are worthless, but are really not worth much or fooling with. But I don't want to die one day and leave my family with hundreds of thousands of cards that they can't sell, can't get rid of. And that's why I move on from commons. I want them to only have nicer stuff, to leave to them. And so anyway, this is for the Indians PC. This was the card that those other two commons was given to me. This is Ty. I've been saying Ty, but it's Tyler Freeman. Ty Freeman. Former high draft pick of the Indians. He had a lot of promise. Was a top prospect for several years. Uh, but they gave him the start. They moved him. His original position was like second base. They moved him to the outfield. They needed really last year. They needed a center fielder. He was athletic enough to play center field. Defensively, he did a great job. He started off the year hitting, but then he went into a slump, and pitchers made adjustments. He did not make adjustments back. Lost his starting job. The Phillies ended up. The Guardians ended up making a trade to basically replace him in the outfield as the year went along because they were contending. And Freeman this year, to be honest with you, has played enough. He's had enough regular run now, a couple of different years with Cleveland, that it's shocking to me because, to be honest with you, his whole skill set was he wouldn't have a lot of power, he wouldn't have a ton of speed, but the guy could hit. And that was the one thing that I remember coming up. I thought, well, this guy isn't going to hit a ton of home runs and he's not going to steal a ton of bases, but he can do a little bit of everything. And he's definitely, the one thing that I wasn't worried about was he was going to be able to hit for a solid average. I thought this guy was going to be a 280 to 300 hitter at the major league level. I'll tell you what's happening to him though, and it happens to so many young players today. And I watched him last year. Their natural hitting ability is what gets them drafted. It's what gets them through the minors, and then they get to the majors, and uh, some modern minded guy that's all about computer numbers and this and that and the other analytics. An analytics hitting coach decides, you know what, you need to pull the ball more. You need to pull the ball more. You could hit 20 home runs a year if you pulled the ball more. And the reason I'd say that's what happened to him is as last season went along, he went from, I used to say, you take what the pitcher gives you. If the pitcher is pitching you outside, you try to hit the ball the opposite field. Freeman went from trying to hit the ball where it was pitched and just trying to get on base to he was trying to pull everything. And he was swinging out of his shoes trying to pull pitches on the outside corner. He was, and once you start doing that, pitchers just going to eat. Major league pitchers will eat you alive. It's why that nowadays there's so many guys that they talk about. Oh, well, you need to hit more home runs. And you'll hear these young people say everybody should be trying to pull the ball, pull the ball, pull the ball. Nobody cares about nothing but home runs. Well, you know what? The truth of the matter is, that's why you have so many games that are so hard to watch. Guys like the last several years, Joey Gallo, Marcell Ozuna. It's sickening seeing guys hold down major league jobs that can't even hit 200. And now Ozuna did have some seasons where he was really good, but I mean I've seen guys like that have some of the horrible seasons. But Freeman is probably done. Uh, Cleveland will keep him around right now for two reasons. One, he's still cheap and affordable, and two, he can play in several positions. He can play pretty much anywhere they need in the outfield. He can play second base, shortstop. So because he's useful as a utility player, he will probably be on the team as a bench player. Also, they don't have anybody better. They've got a lot of infielders that they probably don't feel are major league ready or are not as talented. So, defensively. One thing I did pick this up though was not just that it was an autograph. This will go into my, Indians Guardians collection, but it's a autograph, but and it's a very beautiful card. But it's also serial numbered to 99. This one is numbered 66 out of 99, and PSA slab. Anyway, I'm tickled to get that. I got that really cheap, $3 plus shipping, but $3. Tickled to get that at that price. Now, this other one, and this is the last thing that this came in one day. This was a lot that I purchased from the same guy, and altogether, including shipping, and shipping was like $3.95. He charged me. I've got about $6 a piece in each one of these. Now, none of these three are going to hold any value to the average collector unless that average collector is a Indians Guardians fan like me, or is someone that just value like loves to collect PSA gem mint 10s. And there is some people out there that don't necessarily collect just one team or a certain player. They collect gem mint 10s because they know that those are going to hold the value. Well, if ever, these are modern cards, so it's not like that this is 1970s or 1960s cards in gem mint 10 form that would really have value, even as commons. All three of these are commons. They're all three gem mint 10 PSAs, and that's why I decided to add them to the set. If these had been PSA 8s, 9s, 7s, I would have never been interested. Even I don't care. I wouldn't have even wanted to add them to my Indians PC if the guy had given them to me for $1 a piece. I don't think, because I just don't really want to pile up a bunch of fluff. That's like when I'm dead and gone, my family isn't going to be able to sell. They'd be able to sell a PSA 10, no matter who it is, eventually, And the first one here is Jesus Aguilar, who was not really with Cleveland that long. He came up with Cleveland as a prospect. This was when he was first coming up with Cleveland. This is a 2014 Topps Heritage card, PSA Gem Mint 10. It's nice. He did go on. He had one massive year with Milwaukee where he was basically like an all-star, 30 some homers, 100 some RBIs, I think. Then he ended up falling on hard times. Pitchers maybe figured him out. He ended up going to Miami. I think he had some decent years there, and I think I can't remember exactly, but he finished up. And see, he played in the 20 part of the 2012 and in 2013 in Akron. Akron is not that far from where we live, like 30-minute drive. So, he played not that far from here. That's a nice card to add to my Indians PC. So is this one. Now, a lot of people, more people might remember this guy, Danny Salazar. This is a 2013 Topps Update rookie card. Salazar, when he first came up, and that was also, no, it's not Aguilar. Let me hold on one second. I'm sorry. Let me look at this. Yes, that was Aguilar's rookie card as well. RC at the bottom. But this was not. Salazar was when he first came up, he had some electric stuff. He was very nasty. There was a lot of people that felt like he was going to had a chance to turn into something special. He did have success with the Indians. He was a very solid pitcher for a few years. And this, like I said, it's not going to have any stats on the back of it. It's his rookie card, but I can't remember. He had a couple of years, at least one year where he won over 10 ball games. He battled injuries though, and he was inconsistent as well, control issues at times, but he had good stuff. And arm injuries wrecked him, and Cleveland finally gave up on him when it became obvious that he didn't have anything left. The last that I read, I think it might have been it was the Yankees, possibly. Somebody signed him to a minor league contract. He only pitched like one game with their AAA team, and they immediately released him. He just does not, he's one of those guys that sadly he had a major arm injury that required surgery, and when he come back, he never got his stuff back. He never able to throw hard anymore. Um, he's like a softball. From what I had read, he's been reduced to like a softball pitcher at this point. And but anyway, this is a PSA 10 rookie card of him. He was with Cleveland for 4 or 5 years maybe, and before he got hurt. And I mean, I sadly the last I when I looked up online to see what happened to him, he had tried to play last year and signed to play in the Mexican League and got cut after pitching in just like 3 games, I think I read. So, but anyway, his career's probably done, and it's sad. He's only like I think 30 years old or 32. Not sure. I'm not going to worry about it, but that just goes to show you can be on top of the world. This guy was a major league pitcher. He had all this potential. I mean, he wasn't considered like a Cy Young winner or anything, but this guy was on top of the world, major league baseball player. One injury took it all away, and so we never know from 1 minute to the next. I'm sitting here doing this video right now. 5 days ago, I wasn't feeling well at all, and I didn't know with the way my doctor was talking, I didn't know what I was facing. We never know. You can have it all and it could be gone in a second. So, enjoy every day. Enjoy every day. The last card I'll show you that was in this lot is also a rookie card. It is a former major bust. Now, Aguilar, I don't consider a bust. The Guardians traded him to another team, and he had some success. And he ended up playing in the majors for several years as a starter. That's not a bust. Not, maybe he didn't become a superstar, but it's not a bust. Salazar is not a bust. He had talent, and he had been a member of the Indians rotation for several seasons before injuries decimated him. That's not a total bust. This guy's a total bust. Jake Bauers. This is one of those guys that, for whatever reason, Cleveland failed for Tampa. Tampa is so good at getting teams to do this. This is another prospect that was developed by Tampa, and Tampa had no problem including in a trade. The Guardians or the Indians at the time were needing a first baseman. They were looking for somebody that was young, somebody that would, wasn't going to cost because they're penny pinchers. The Indians owner, Guardians owner, penny pincher. And this guy, being a prospect, he was, going to be cheap for several years. The Indians thought they were getting a heart of the order power hitter that was going to be cheap and affordable for several years of team control, and before he could become a free agent and demand higher money, or even hit arbitration. And he couldn't hit. He had, and it's funny when I look at his stats that he put up in the minor leagues. If you look at his lower level stats, he hit for a decent average, but he never showed really true power. I remember when Cleveland got him, people were talking about this guy's going to be a 25, 30 home run hitter a year with a 280, 270, 280 average. No, even in the minor leagues, the highest number of homers he ever hit was in 2016 at Montgomery. He hit, it was 14 home runs, and that was over almost 500 at bats. And if a guy can't hit but a high of 14 home runs in a 500 at bat season in Double A, he's not going to hit 25, 30 homers. I don't know what Cleveland thought, but anyway, Tampa Bay suckered them in on this guy. They gave him a few chances for a little while, and he had already came up with the Rays, and it should have been a big telltale sign. Tampa gave him 323 at bats. He hit 201. That was in 2018. And yet Cleveland still thought they had something special with this guy. They made him their starter, and it didn't last but 1 year. And then the Yankees, when the Yankees picked him up, and he got some run with the Yankees the last couple of years, but still couldn't hit. And it was just it was all hype. This guy was hyped up and I never understood why. When we traded for him, I remember I was like, I was like, why do they want this guy? He's already 201 average and 300 and some at bats at the big league level. But at any rate, they did. And I'll tell you the truth, I feel like Tampa's already screwed Cleveland over on another one, Kyle Manzardo. They let Josh Naylor go this offseason in a trade to save money, and they're planning on giving first base to Kyle Manzardo. That's how they're justifying it to the fans by saying, well, we got this kid that's got a chance to be a star, but he had nowhere to play. So we're going by trading Naylor, it opens first base for him. You know what? Manzardo didn't hit that hot in a platoon role last year. He is not the superstar that he was hyped to be as a prospect. And that's why Tampa had no trouble dumping him on us. And in a trade a few years ago, Manzardo had a big year in A ball and never hit again. And I see Manzardo as he is better than Bowers. He is better than Bowers, I will say that. But he also put up better numbers in the lower minors than Bowers had. So, and I don't really have a lot of faith in. It's not that I don't have faith in the Indians' ability to develop talent. They seem to do very well with that. And even after Terry Francona, left, they seem to do very well at developing talent in the minor leagues. The problem that Cleveland has is honestly in the higher up management offices and their owner. They got a penny pinching owner that is he doesn't really care about winning at all. He just wants to make money as much as possible, profit wise. And then they've got the management team that makes the trades. It's understandable if you've got an owner saying you're going to have to trade this guy because I'm not paying what he's going to earn. I want my payroll no higher than this, and they have to trade players that are making more money. And I realize sometimes small market teams or a team with an owner like that is restrained. A general manager uh, has to really hate being in that position because you're basically being told you have no choice. I'm the owner. The owner says, I don't want my payroll going over $70 million this year, and I don't care who you have to trade, get the payroll down. Well, then the general manager's job, unless he wants to risk losing his job, he's got to do what the owner says. Sometimes that means trading a player that Cleveland, or home team fans don't want to see traded. But um, at the same time, when you make those trades, you've got to be the kind of guy that is a great judge of talent. That and while Cleveland seems to do fine at developing talent, especially pitching in the minor leagues, they struggle at developing hitting prospects, and they struggle when it comes to judging talent in other organizations when it comes to hitting prospects. Um, they've been a good judge of talent. Like over the years, they got Corey Kluber as a throw-in in a trade years ago, and everybody knows how that turned out for Cleveland. But there's been a lot more when it comes to hitting prospects, and not just in trades. Their own draft picks struggled developing. But anyway, all of these are, for me, nice PSA additions to my Indians Guardians collection. I'm happy to get 3 PSA 10 rookie cards of guys that, whether they played with Cleveland long or not, 2 of them didn't. 1 of them did for a little while before injuries, but still, rookie cards, nice little lot there. PSA 10s. If they were, like I said, if they were 9, 8, 7s, 8s, 9s, I really wouldn't have been interested. But that PSA 10, and the price was right for PSA 10s, then I'm happy with that, and thrilled to get them. So at any rate, this right here, $3 plus shipping. I'm happy with that. Serial numbered to 99 autograph. I'll take it. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll try to get back to doing more regular videos as mail comes in. And I'm sorry this was longer. I had a lot to talk about, a lot to go over. And I'm feeling a little bit better, so I thought it'd be a good day to do it. I got a busy day today, a lot I have to do to get things. Me and Roseanne, me being sick, I got behind on a lot of things, and she has been trying her best to do what she could. But I got to do some shopping today. I've got to do some other things for us, and but hopefully I'll be back again soon with more videos.